Chapter 6. The villagers gather outside my cabin to walk. The sound of wooden posts being driven into the ground, mixed with their quiet conversations, slowly woke me up. I went to bed very late last night. My cousins had messaged me saying they were coming back today to see me. I was so happy. It had been 10 years since we last saw each other after my grandma passed away. 10 years. In those 10 years, they had grew up, getting married, had children, and built families of their own. Standing there among them, I suddenly realized how much time had passed. It felt like just yesterday we were children, and somehow 10 years had already flown by. But today, we all back here together, just like we were when we were little. For a moment, this old cabin feels lovely again. After lunch, my cousin said she wanted to take us to a little secret play where they used to play when they were kids. There were white berries, crabs, grasshoppers, and if you were lucky, you could find plenty of crabs hiding between the rocks, brought them home and cooked there for dinner. But when we got there, we found that the stream had most dried up. We searched between the rocks, hoping to find some sign of crabs, but there was nothing. Still, we didn't come home empty-handed. On the way back, we caught a few grasshoppers using an empty plastic bottle. An elderly neighbor who lives nearby gave us some watermelons for her own garden and cut them open for us. She told us that watermelon was great food for the chickens and ducks too. She even said lived over watermelon rings, cut them into small pieces, and feed them to the animals. Come on. My little niece looked at the grasshoppers and complained that we hadn't caught many enough. Then my oldest nephew came back with a strange-looking beetle. An AI app identified it as a rhinoceros beetle.
哦，
只是把它搬下去啊！我给你喷，往下搬搬，我要更容易。
对，往下搬。
神经。
这是谁教你的？那你妈妈要骂你的，我跟你说，她晚上要投诉你给骂了。不要给人家吃。
After I finished taking a shower, I came out to find anyone gathered together. My oldest nephew told me that there were 2 beds hanging for the beans in the room next to where I sleep. So, of course, we all went to have a look. The next morning, the kids had to go to my vegetable patch and dig up some rooms for the chickens and ducks.
来，你看着那个土土的哈。
我下来一点。
来，帮我拿一下。
走。
哎呀，好凉快，我手都在发抖了，我要。
我去做。
小孩就回去了。走开，你们不要到我的。
The moment their started went, they got ridiculously excited. It was probably the first time I had seen someone get that excited about a wall.
哪里？这太小了。是，就这样，还有一个嘞。
这里还有连着给那个鸭吃啊。鸭子吃不尽兴，还有
我来。
你挖不了。给你鸭子一吃小的，因为你压力大。真的是都钻到土里去了。
我觉得。
挖了。没事了，你挖了。阿姨。不要那里挖。我看这什么东西。不要那个，听不懂啊。
什么东西啊？
白色的。
啥也不是，行了吧？
我操你这么大力的吗？白色的。
还懂啊哈。你上来。哇塞。这里没有车呢。
你要是带的话，肯定拿回去啊。
我们要走下去吧？我们走下去要半个小时。这不吵架。
My mom and my uncle came up early that morning just to cook lunch for us.
来，那个来洗手去，滴水。
咦，你怎么不回答我说话？
昨天我们抱着玩的那个。你看被黑鸭子，他们在抢，他们在抢
，2只嘴在抢。
那肯定啊！
他们在抢，
你们挖的太少了。
都抢。老板，你搬来啊！
不知道哪里有刀，刚才没看到，舅舅。
啊？
没看到有哪里有刀。
对，救命啊！救我！来，宝，来。我拿。看不烂，还我们看。不烂回转。吃。来，家里的。来。
来，身体红了一只。你到我想洗要到。
把你不知道，把我再知道吗？
啊，老妈妈知道。
完了没有多少了？
小猪猪。
赶快让我翻一下。
我想吃花生。
前面多少？
那个
那是我的技术不？技术，哥。你的手太小了，装不下了。
怎么啦？
哇，好放在哪里？装饭。
你不把这里拍一下吗？
我拍了。After lunch, my mom and my uncle said goodbye and headed home. The rest of us stayed behind and continued our little mountain adventure.
不要这样子搞一下来了，拿去。拿出来干什么？他们拿手拿粉纸上一圈，拿粉纸上。这个棍子臭死了。
我觉得还可以，
还可以，要再给你多闻一
没
下。
有那个屎味臭。
咦，
厕所那个屎味太臭了。
真的好臭。
把粮食。哎，这样子入天是最好的了，赶紧芦苇红叶跑过去。
We spent some time walking around the mountain. Along the way, we came close a little goat that seemed to be lost.
结状药子。
哎，大哥有这么个样？
Oh. We stayed with it and helped it find its way back to the rest of the herd. Eventually, it found its family and followed them home. Reunions are strange. Sometimes, after waiting for years, you only get a few days together. The next morning, as the sun came up, everyone packed their bags and get ready to leave. They were going back to their own homes, and I stayed behind. Once again, it was just me and this old cabin.